Very good morning to all. Yes, this is a response which I get when I go to school. Okay, when I say good morning, you will reply back. I'm extremely happy to be here today because of the importance of this day, 22nd December 2014, because 22nd December 1887 was the birthday of Srinivasa Ramanujan. I had been traveling to several schools for last 5 days. Tomorrow also there is an assignment. And indeed happy that the Ministry of Human Resource Development decided to celebrate this week as the Mathematics Week. Definitely Srinivasa Ramanujan is a person or a mathematician whom you should model. I will explain his personal life and his mathematical contributions later. In the prayer, I took a word from the prayer. Count your blessings. There is something remarkable. Especially we Indians are proud to be Indians and we are blessed with many things. I have had the opportunity to visit several countries abroad, and I used to compare what is happening in India and what is happening elsewhere in the country, in the world. As the two students who made the prayer said, count the blessings. Okay, so we are all blessed. We have a nice room like this, we have fans, we have amplifying system, we have got mobile phone, that, this and all that. There are certain countries which are much, much ahead of us, like United States, UK, and then Korea, China, etc., even in Asia. But there are less privileged countries. So what people say is that India should be a bridging power rather than a superpower. Okay, what do you mean by bridging power? There are many things happening somewhere in the world. We mediate and we give to somebody else, the less privileged, the less blessed. So in this process, all of us are should be ready, and I'm jealous of, in some sense, not negatively, positively, jealous of you students, because when I was a student, I didn't have this much facilities. Okay, so now all the information that you want is in your fingertip, right? I need spend about 30 minutes to prepare a talk for one day. I need not spend more than that. Okay, the entire imaginary infinite library is in the form of World Wide Web, right? So we have got a web which is worldwide. It's web. Have you looked at the web of the web somewhere here? Spider web. It's all knitted properly, isn't it? It's all connected properly. So your World Wide Web is also connected properly. And there are a lot of work going on in the theory of World Wide Web itself. Okay. So what I am going to do today is to thank several people today, because there is a NGO, non-governmental organization working in Assam, what's called Ganit Sora. So the talk that I am going to give today is being recorded officially for them, which will be put in the YouTube in the afternoon by this Ganit Sora, because there are a lot of people from all over the world joining today in this video conferencing from United States and other countries. So due to time zone problem, we can upload immediately because we are all in India. Okay. So I will be sending this file to the Ganit Sora people, and they will upload to the YouTube positively today itself because of the sanctity of 22nd December. Okay. Now what makes me happier is I did visit Srinivasa Ramanujan's house and to school and last month. Okay. So I got first-hand information of what or who Ramanujan was and how much difficulties he had in his personal life and studies of mathematics and so on. Okay. So before, is it okay? Let it take. I always am afraid of technology. Okay. Because I feel that science is pure or science is innocent, but technology is innocent looking. Right? So this is my quote. Science is innocent and technology is innocent looking. Right? It looks innocent, but it has got two faces of, the known face that you see of technology and the unknown face which you don't know. Okay, so before it comes, let me tell a story which I told elsewhere. I've heard about Viswanathan Anand. Yes, you would not have heard me, but Viswanathan Anand is a great person. There is a conference called International Congress of Mathematicians, held every 4 years. Okay, so 2010 it was held in Hyderabad, and 2014 it was held in Seoul, Korea. I was fortunate to attend Seoul session also. So in the 2010 Viswanathan Anand ICM, Viswanathan Anand played with 40 people from all over the world simultaneously the chess game. Okay, so I had witnessed Viswanathan Anand doing this. So there was a table and 40 great mathematicians were sitting on it, including a boy of age 13 who was sponsored by the Infosys company. He was in 8th standard. Okay. That is 21 to last file. Last one. Okay. So obviously Viswanathan Anand would have won the game, isn't it? And that did happen. So only one boy, that 13-year-old boy, held Viswanathan Anand for 3.5 hours. All the great mathematicians were defeated within 30 minutes. Okay. So I will explain to you what Viswanathan Anand did. As I said, there were people sitting on a table. Okay, round a table. So Viswanathan Anand will come to every player, take half a second to think and move it, and a very wonderful move. Okay, and obviously Viswanathan Anand won the game, defeated all the 40. So I asked my friend, who was also a member of to play with Viswanathan Anand, what was the strategy of Anand? Okay, this I will take 2 minutes and tell you. Strategy of Anand was, Anand is a great man. The point is, how did he win? Okay, the point is, at least 90% of the moves that all the 40 people did has already been seen by Anand, number one. Okay, so when the other 40 people were very tired thinking about what could be the best move, that was a very easy move for Anand because, I repeat, he has done it several times. Okay, so when their 90% energy is over, Anand is still fresh. Okay, nothing from the brain he has used, because all the moves that has been played has been already seen by him. Okay, this is a message which I want to tell you. Number two, what happened to that boy? How could that boy take Anand for 3.5, 4 hours? That also Anand replied. Anand told he underestimated that boy. So these are the 2 points which I want to point out. Don't underestimate people. We don't know who is sitting in front of me. I am careful today because I don't know your strength. Definitely you are stronger than me in many, many, many aspects. I also have my own strength, right? But I am not able to measure your strength because you are maybe some 60, 70 are there. I am alone. Okay. So I will not underestimate you. I'll be enough safeguard to see that I win the game. That should be the attitude. Okay, to win the game, don't underestimate the enemy. Enemy may be powerful. Right? The other one, what is that? He has been seeing this move several times. So when you do a thing repeatedly, you become the boss. Right? Today, your teacher accompanied me in my car, so I was very comfortable in the sense that I did not worry about which turn I should take, left or right or straight, where should I apply my brake, nothing. She very carefully guided me, I am very safely here. Suppose I am coming tomorrow morning and if your principal says I will send somebody, I will say no need, I know, because I came yesterday. Right? I came yesterday, therefore, so I did several times. For Father George Kurian, he has been coming here for last 30 years. So he has no botheration. He can even close his eyes and come. His brain will take you. Okay, his mindset will take you. So these are the 2 points which I want to do. If you do things repeatedly, you become very strong in the area, and don't underestimate the people. Okay, so with this, I think the things are ready. There is some dislocation. I don't know what is the problem. Okay. So this is my email ID, vambat@gmail.com or vijay@kusat.ac.in. You please note it down. You may feel like corresponding after my talk. Okay. So this is the beautiful structure that you have in my campus. So welcome to Cochin University as a student or as for PhD or whatever you want. Okay. So next. Okay, as I said, I'm going to thank Gyanom Foundation, Ganit Soroa, and Science Media, and of course the MHRD project of Ganit, and of course the principal and staff and management of this school. Okay, next. You know him, isn't it? So 22nd December 1887 and 26th April 1920. So how many years? 33 years, right? So 33 years is enough and more for some people. So what he did in 33 years and why he is great, I will split into 2 parts. One is his personal life, where he was born and how much difficulties he had, and the other part is slightly mathematics. Okay, right. Next. As you all know, 2012 was declared Year of Mathematics by the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh. You know, Dr. Manmohan Singh's area of interest is economics, and therefore he knows the power of mathematics. Okay, without mathematics you cannot do research in economics, impossible. So we all celebrated 2012. Next. Yeah, you know Albert Einstein. He has a famous quote: "We owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made." Okay, so Indians contributed the decimal system, 1, 2, 3, etc., 10, and without this decimal system, nothing could be done. And he has another quote about computers: "Computers are incredibly fast, accurate, and stupid. Human beings are incredibly slow, inaccurate, and brilliant. Together, they are powerful beyond imagination." Isn't it? That's correct. If you have only computers, nothing will happen. If you have human being only, nothing will happen. So a wonderful joining of human being and computers is going to help you. Okay, next. I like this quote also by Albert Einstein, who says that, "I'm thankful to all those who said no." Right? Your teachers do that. I don't know. You do it yourself. So because of that, I did myself. Till what level did he do? Up to E is equal to mc square, isn't it? Right? So several teachers of him told that, I don't know, I will not do it for you. So what's the way out? You do it yourself. Right? When you do it yourself, he found the theory of relativity, right? He found E is equal to mc square and many other things. So this is a good thing that you should take care. Okay, next. Okay. I will congratulate these two gentlemen. Do you know who are they? They are Manjul Bhargava and Subhash Khote. Right? You know Manjul Bhargava and Subhash Khote? His pictures would have come in. Manjul Bhargava and Subhash Khote. Manjul Bhargava got the Nobel equivalent of mathematics in mathematics called Fields Medal in the International Contest of Mathematicians held in 2014 at Seoul, South Korea. Subhash Khote also got a prize called Navalny Prize, which is given to the best mathematical contributions in the theory of computer science. Fine. All these are international awards, and both have Indian connections, right? Manjul Bhargava is now a professor of mathematics in the Princeton University, which is one of the biggest universities in the world, where Albert Einstein worked. Subhash Khote is from a very rural area in Maharashtra. He took BTech from IIT Bombay and is a professor in Stanford University, United States. Okay, so these two are great Indians, and historically this is for the first time that even an Indian origin person is getting the Fields Medal. Okay, next. Next one. Yeah, this is the great Fields Medal. There is no Nobel Prize in mathematics, isn't it? Unfortunate. Mathematics is called Queen of all sciences, right? But still, there is no Nobel Prize for mathematics. If you want to know reason why Nobel did not give a prize for mathematics, you just refer to Nobel Foundation site. Okay, you have www.nobelfoundation.org. You will get all information about the history of Nobel Prizes. Okay, now my question is, whose picture appears on this medal? Yes, please. No, let it be a wrong answer, doesn't matter. Definitely it's not my picture. Sure? Okay. So my question is, whose picture comes in this medal? Pardon? Come on, let it be loudly tell. Doesn't matter, let it be wrong. Huh? Pythagoras, you are right. Okay, so Pythagoras' picture appears in this medal, and this is the greatest medal that any mathematician can dream of. Okay, next. Do you agree with this? This is a survey conducted all over the world. They have an image problem. This is the image of the school teachers. Okay, unless you do the problem correctly, I will shoot you. There is a quote there. So this picture of the teacher should go, right? To make mathematics learning more interesting and more exciting. Okay, next. This is a question which I hear wherever I go. What can you do with a math degree? You can at the most become a school teacher. That's a belief, isn't it? It's absolutely wrong. You've got 30 options in this left side. You can become a banker, professor, financial aid, director, research scientist, so many things. And look at what is happening here. You know what is NSA? NSA is the equivalent in United States of our Intelligence Bureau or something like that. Okay. So in NSA, you require that much possible positions. I cannot read that, right? Because it's a huge number. Definitely that much vacancy is not there. What does it convey? If you are a math graduate, NSA will give you a job. Don't go to NSA. You go to Delhi, there is a RAW, Research and Analysis Wing. Have heard about RAW? No. RAW has a new director yesterday. Right? It comes under what is called JCB. You have heard JCB, You will see JCB all over Cochin City now, isn't it? It's not that JCB. JCB is Joint Cipher Bureau, right? It comes under Cabinet Ministry. So RAW Rao requires a lot of students like you to help them detect terrorism, militancy, everything. Okay, so don't think that if you are taking mathematics as major, your life is spoiled. No, absolutely no. Fine? Next one. Okay, so I said this, 22nd December is National Math Day every year. Next. Okay, this I will take 1 minute. The Man Who Knew Infinity is a book about, obviously, Ramanujan, written by Robert Kanigel. Robert Kanigel has nothing to do with mathematics. He is a professor of science writing. Okay, there is a department in science writing in MIT. You know, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, USA. He is a professor there. So he wrote this book. So in 2012, Government of India decided to translate this book into as many Indian languages as possible. Okay, next. Yeah. So this is a book translated into Malayalam. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of this translation, at least at the end of the project. So 3 people translated, and the Kerala Language Institute, which published it, could not assemble all the translations, so they gave it to me to do that. So that also I took about 6 months to complete. And the book is available in print. It was released last year by the Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala. And this book is available in the publication list of Kerala Language Institute. Okay. This is translated into 6 Indian languages, including Malayalam. Next. Okay. So this is the house of Srinivasa Ramanujan, which I visited last month. You will see, did you see a blackboard there? Eh? In the second picture, there is a blackboard. That was the blackboard which was used by Srinivasa Ramanujan to write. It is still kept as a monument. Fine. And the rooms are very narrow. And this house is now protected by Shastra University, and it's an international monument. Next. This is the school where he studied. You know, the principal of town school is a VIP. You know the reason? Her name is Vijaya. When I talked to her, she was very excited because she used to tell in Tamil, Netake, President of India vandadu, Munda Prime Minister of India vandadu. Okay. Prime Minister of India, Prime Minister of several countries, several scientists are visiting that school because you know what's the reason? That was a school studied by Srinivasa Ramanujan. Okay, so she is very proud and she is very busy principal. Fine. The other one is a bust kept in the Srinivasa Ramanujan Center. Next one. This is the bust of Srinivasa Ramanujan in his house. That's a picture of Srinivasa Ramanujan in the library of Town High School. Okay. This is the first day cover issued by Government of India. And you look at the date of the stamp on the right side, 22/12/62. Okay, so these are all memorial things in memory of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Next. Yeah. See, Ramanujan was very indisciplined in the sense that he didn't write down everything what he got. I think some of you may be like this, right? You don't do things systematically. How many of you are like that? You can be a Ramanujan. Okay. I was not systematic after 10th standard. Till 10th standard, I was very systematic. My father used to say, you are a good student because I was very systematic. I'll finish my homework first and then only go for play. But after 10th, I became lazy. Okay. So there are many here who are not systematic. So you could be a Ramanujan sometime. Fine? So Ramanujan did not write down anything proper order. So he kept in some papers and like that, threw it away somewhere there and all that. So when he died, all his works was compiled as a book. not one volume, several volumes. Fine. This is what's called Lost Notebook, which is actually last notebook of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Notebook is not a notebook, it's all collection of his theorems and results. How many theorems? At least 3,000 theorems. Okay, next. Okay, I will introduce you to some people. Ramanujan died. So to know more about Ramanujan, these are the people whom we can consult. So George Andrews is a professor of mathematics in the Pennsylvania State University. He's a good friend of mine. I have met him several times. He has come to Cochin University also. Thanks to my guru, Father George will know, Professor Wasir Hassan Abdi, who was the founder, head of the Department of Mathematics of Cochin University, was my guru, and he has brought George Andrews also in 1981 to my university. The other person is Richard Oskey, who is also a professor of mathematics from University of Illinois, United States. And I will take you to one more person, that is Bruce Berndt, who has authored several books, including Ramanujan's notebooks. Did you see that part number? Part number 5. In fact, plenty of parts are there. Still, many results proved by Ramanujan, nobody knows. That is the greatness of Ramanujan. Okay, so you may ask why Ramanujan is great. Ramanujan is great because there are several results, which I will tell after some time, which he predicted and which came to be true. That we call the word intuition, isn't it? I will give you the dictionary meaning of intuition after some time. Okay, next. Yeah, Ken Ono is also in United States. I know, out of the 4, I know personally 3, except Bruce Berndt. So I collected some information for this talk, as well as my notes, my article on Srinivasa Ramanujan, which I have completed and is coming in Science India, 2015 January. Many information about Srinivasa Ramanujan. Okay, so Ono has an article in Notices of American Mathematical Society honoring a gift from Kumbakonam. The title of my article is An Academic Pilgrimage to the Place of Srinivasa Ramanujan. Okay, I made an academic pilgrimage. Just like we go to Sabarimala or some churches, I made a pilgrimage to his house. Next. Okay. I will also introduce to you one more gentleman by name Terence Tao. I will show his profile after 1 minute. You will be really surprised. What Terence Tao wrote in an article is, what is good mathematics? Okay? What is good mathematics? He has got a lot of definitions, but he has put Srinivasa Ramanujan's work as beautiful mathematics. Right? What does that mean? It is very easy to tell the theorems of Ramanujan, but extremely difficult to prove. So he calls it as beautiful mathematics. Fine? Next. 1 second. You look at the profile of Terence Tao. Come on, just read it. Age 7, he begins to school. Next one. You read it yourself and enjoy. Age 9, he begins studying in the university. What is your age now? Your age? Maybe 13, 14? 15. Where are you now? School. Okay. Fine. 10, 11, 12 completes the International Mathematical Olympiads, winning bronze, silver, and gold medal. At the age of 21, he takes a PhD from Princeton University. 24, at the age of 24, he's a professor in University of California, Los Angeles. And at the age of 31, in 2006, he got the prestigious Fields Medal also. He has been receiving awards like this even after 2006. Okay, so it was his opinion which I mentioned earlier about Srinivasa Ramanujan. Fine, next. Oh, this is the present Terence Tao. Okay, the other picture was young Terence Tao. This is Terence Tao, he's just 40 years old and he has done wonders. And that is the impression or respect that he has towards Ramanujan that was conveyed in that article. Okay, next. Okay, we'll quickly go through the timeline of Srinivasa Ramanujan. As I said, he was born on 22nd December 1887 at a place called Erode. His birth star is Uttratadi. How many of you here have Uttratadi as the birth star? Oh, good. I had a similar number yesterday also from Kendriya Vidyalaya. Please stand up. So you have more responsibility now. Okay. Your birth star is Uttratadi. How many stars are there? 47. Come on. How many stars? You don't know? I think you are all from Kerala. Right. So proud to be Keralite. You should know how many are there. Tell me. 15? 28, correct. Okay, so Uttratadi is the birth star of Srinivasa Ramanujan. So now you have more responsibility. Try to be like Ramanujan. Okay, sit down. So he was married to Janaki at the age of, in the year 1909. Janaki was hardly 13, 14 years old. Fine. And Ramanujan made his historic trip to England. What for? To meet Hardy, G.H. Hardy. Okay, in 1914. Next. In 1918, he became FRS. You know what is FRS? FRS is Fellow Royal Society, London. It's a great honor that anybody can think of. So he became a FRS, though he didn't complete any degree formally. That's something surprising. Okay, all the examinations that he wrote, he failed. But still, due to the greatness of the mathematical research that he has proved, he was awarded honorary degree of FRS, Fellow Royal Society, London, in the year 1980. And 26th April 1920, he passed away in Chennai. Okay, next. Yeah. This is Janaki Ammal, wife of Srinivasa Ramanujan. So she was a widow for 74 years, right? Because she died in 1994 and Ramanujan died in 1920. So 74 years she was a widow living in Chennai and in her own house. They didn't have any issues, so they adopted a son. His name is Narayanan. I think Narayanan is also no more. So there are no legal heirs for Srinivasa Ramanujan. So whatever assets, what is his asset? No financial assets. His mathematical results is contributed to it's a property of the government of India now. Okay. Okay, I will spend a minute about G.H. Hardy. G.H. Hardy is the mentor of Srinivasa Ramanujan. What I feel is that every one of you have a mentor at one point of time. I believe in that. Do you agree with me? At one point of time in your life, you are going to get a mentor who will guide you in your future life. He or she. It may be your parents, it may be your teacher, it may be your friend, it may be your uncle, it may be somebody, okay, who is going to guide you in your life and tell that, okay, you do this, and you will become what you are. So like that, Srinivasa Ramanujan also had a mentor by the name of G.H. Hardy, who took him from Chennai to England. In fact, in London, Cambridge University and Trinity College London, Srinivasa Ramanujan and Hardy did a lot of work. Okay. Okay, next. Yeah. This is a famous book of Hardy, A Mathematician's Apology. There are plenty of books written by Hardy. This is the apology that he makes to Srinivasa Ramanujan, for which he took a lot of time to realize the power of Srinivasa Ramanujan. He didn't know how great Srinivasa Ramanujan is. So whatever letter he got from India, see, you imagine, you go back to 1914. All these facilities that you have now is not there, or was not there in 1914. Okay. So he had to write a letter. Now what will we do? You send email, isn't it? If you want to correspond with somebody in London, you send an email. Fine? So that system was not there, it was just usual postal mail. So Srinivasa Ramanujan sent letters to Hardy saying that I am a person who is interested in mathematics and therefore you please give me a scholarship to study abroad. Most of the letters that Hardy got was put in the wastebasket, thinking that it is from a madman. But after a few minutes, one of the letters, G.H. Hardy thought that, oh, it could be something good. So he took it out from a dust box, waste paper basket, and read it again and found that it was a wonderful piece of mathematics. So whatever you call by the name, the God or any superpower or whatever it is, I surely feel, I very sincerely feel that for every human being there is a mentor. I had a wonderful mentor for my studies. That was my Guru, Professor Abdi. So whatever mathematics or whatever thing that I do now, I owe a great to him, that great man who was the founder, head of the Department of Mathematics, who passed away about 15 years back. You will find a mentor if you are sincere. Okay, you have a long way to go, isn't it? You are now in the 11th standard or 10th standard. You have to pass out 12th standard, choose your option of career, become the great possible. You have the power with you. Okay, every youth in the country has a power. All that the teachers have to do is dig out that power and show that you are powerful. Okay, you are powerful, no doubt. Okay. I will go to something else after this. Look at this. Read it. These were the wishes of G.H. Hardy, and unfortunately, Hardy could not achieve any of this wish. Okay. Something surprising. Forget about the first one, it's a technical statement. Second, you know, make 211 not out in the fourth innings of the last test match of Oval. Find an argument for the non-existence of God, which will convince the general public. To be the first man at the top of Mount Everest, and to be proclaimed the first president of USSR, Great Britain and Germany. Look at the last wish, murder Mussolini. Unfortunately, none of the 6 wishes of Hardy he could materialize, he could fulfill. You know, had he tried to kill Mussolini, before that Mussolini would have killed him, isn't it? So nothing happened. So it doesn't mean that Hardy is a failure. Somebody asked Hardy, what is your greatest invention in mathematics? You know what he said? Discovery of Ramanujan. Okay, discovery of Ramanujan is the greatest thing that he did, because he discovered the power of Ramanujan, the intuition of Ramanujan, everything. Right? Okay, next. Okay, next. Yeah, this is the house of Srinivasa Ramanujan, which I showed you earlier. His father's name is Srinivasa Iyengar, and mother's name is Komala Tammal. Okay, so next. So I may take another 30 minutes to tell some mathematics. All of us can do. Okay, you should have a piece of paper and pen. It's all fun. Okay, I'm not going to take you to the serious mathematics of Ramanujan, but some common sense mathematics that anybody can think of and anybody can prove. Okay. So I will concentrate on his theory of partitions. HCN is what we call the highly composite numbers. And if I get time, I will discuss about 1729. 1729 all of you know, isn't it? I'll come to that after some time. Yes, next. Okay. I'll start with this story. I don't have a board, it doesn't matter. Okay. See, a teacher is handicapped without board. Okay, fine. This is a famous story. Suppose I have got 50 apples with you, and you are asked to distribute to 50 people. How many apples will each student get?
Come on. I've got 50 apple with me. There are 50 people. How many apple will each student get? What did you do? 50 divided by 50 is 1. You've got 40 oranges with you, and there are 40 people around. How many oranges which each will get? 1. What did you do? Again, 40 divided by 40. So it doesn't matter whether it is apple or orange. What you are doing is a mathematical operation called division, right? Am I right? So everyone in the class of Ramanujan agreed to this statement. But unfortunately, Ramanujan was there in the class. So Ramanujan asked the teacher, "Sir, look at that. If no banana is distributed to no student, will everyone still get a banana?" What was the issue? Can you divide 0 by 0? If you divide 0 by 0, is it also still 1? What do you feel? In which class are you studying? 11th. So 10th and 11th. Okay. So in the 11th standard or 12th standard, you will come across a concept called 0 by 0, infinity by infinity, etc. This mathematician is called indeterminate. Okay? Indeterminate means which you cannot find, which you cannot determine. My question to you is the same question that Srinivasa Ramanujan asked. What is the problem if you divide 0 by 0? What do you say? If it is 0 by 0, what is the trouble? Come on. You said 50 divided by 50 is 1. That you are sure because 50 is 50 into 1. Okay? Division is a reverse process of multiplication, or multiplication is a reverse process of division. Right? 50 divided by 50 is 1 because I get back 50 by multiplying 50 with 1. Do you agree with me? 12 divided by 3 is 4 because 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. Fine? So what is the issue if I have 0 divided by 0? What is the exact trouble? Why it is indeterminate? Can anyone tell me? You be dynamic. As I told you, your voices will be heard all over the world by afternoon. Okay, we will upload this file to the World Wide Web, YouTube. So let us all know that the Cochin Refinery School students are very dynamic. So don't keep silent. Whatever you want to tell, you tell. What is the issue with 0 divided by 0? Come on. What's the trouble? I say 0 divided by 0 is 2. You say 0 divided by 0 is 3. He says 0 divided by 0 is 4. And Father George says 0 by 0 is 6. And I say 0 by 0 is 43. And your principal say 0 by 0 is 64. All your mathematics teachers say 0 by 0 is 100. Okay, I'll give one more chance to your vice principal. He says 0 by 0 is 49. So what is the trouble? Good. So how do you put it mathematically? I cannot give a unique value, isn't it? Right? For you, 0 by 0 is 46 is perfectly all right. Because 46 into 0 is 0. Fine? 23 is okay. 23 into 0 is 0. So I will say 0 by 0 is 1. You will say 0 by 0 is 2. And he will say 0 by 0 is 3. Does it look nice? No. Whereas if you take 12 by 3, it is 4 for you, me, and everyone. Are you following me? Yes or no? Yes. So the point is, I cannot give you a unique value if I divide 0 by 0. That's why 0 by 0 is called indeterminate. Okay. Next is another, okay, before that, Srinivasa Ramanujan had extraordinary intuition and proficiency. So today morning, I searched the dictionary to know the meaning of intuition. Okay, I've written down there. Immediate apprehension by mind. Okay? This property is called intuition. Immediate apprehension by mind. Your mind thinks faster than you. Some ideas clicks to your mind immediately. This is what's called intuition. So how many of you have intuition? Come on. Maybe you may not have intuition as much as Srinivasa Ramanujan, but I think every one of you have intuition. Otherwise, you would not have reached this stage. You would have dropped out long back. You have intuition? Come on, what do you say? You have. You definitely have. Only point is that you don't have that much intuition as Srinivasa Ramanujan. That doesn't mean that you are not a good student. Of course, aim to become Ramanujan, no problem. I will give you a copy of the Srinivasa Ramanujan's mark list. It's quite interesting. Quite interesting. Okay, there are many zeros in the mark list. That doesn't mean that Srinivasa Ramanujan is a bad student. So my perception is that it's not something not great if you have only marks. Right? Okay, you should develop the habit of intuition. The more you have development of intuition, you become great. Okay, so, yeah, come on. You write down this question. Square root x plus y is 7 and x plus square root y is 11. This was a question which was asked to Srinivasa Ramanujan when he was in class 5. Okay? Come on. Can anyone give me the answer? Can anyone give me the answer? Come on. Okay, your answer is, can anyone stand up and tell this? Loudly. I'll give you my mic.
X is 9 and y is 4.
X is 9 and y is 4 is true. Usual mathematical technique is to verify the answer by putting it in the equation, right? Are you following me? So this is basically a simultaneous equation involving square root. So x is 9 and y is 4. Is it correct? Yes, square root of 9 is 3. 3 plus 4 is 7 and 2 plus 9 is 11. But I'm interested in how did you get this answer? Guess. You made an intelligent guess. But how did you make the intelligent guess? Why not 24 and 47 or 24 and something else? Come on. See, I am asking this question because I asked the same question for the last couple of days to several people and earlier also. I got some very strong answers. That's why I want you to repeat how you got x is equal to 9 and y is equal to, how much? Y is equal to 4. How? What you said is perfectly right. You are on the right path. You guess. But the guess should be intelligent, isn't it? You can guess everything. I am going to ask you, what is the length of this table? Okay? Are you following me? I am asking you, what is the length of this table? If you say, you give me, sir, you give me a tape, I will measure and tell you. No, I don't want that. Okay? I want you to guess what is the possible length of this table. So what I do, I come like this and look at it. Oh, this is about 10 kilometers, sir. Fine? I am looking at this table and guessing the length of this table as 10 kilometers. What is your inference about me? I don't know anything. I don't know what is 1 kilometer and I don't know how to guess. Am I right? Am I right? Tell me, loudly tell me that my guess was absolutely nonsense. Right? So I will stand again here and say that, okay, it's about roughly 3 meters or 2 meters. It may be 2.1 or 1.9, doesn't matter. Okay? But my intelligent guess, my guess is intelligent and that intelligence guess is correct. That is the quality that you should develop. Guess intelligently, guess correctly, guess basically. I cannot solve all the problems in my life. You cannot solve all the mathematical problems that you see in your question paper or somewhere else in your life. See, your life is not just this life that you have here. Right? Your life is going to be very complex. So you have to solve these problems. How will you do that? Okay. So the intelligent guess. This was answered by Srinivas Ramanujan in 2 seconds when he was in class 5. Okay? Intuition, intelligent guess. So my request to my younger mathematicians is develop this habit of making intelligent guess. Fine. Okay. Next. That's what I told you. More than 3,000 theorems, identities and equations, including properties of highly composite numbers, partition function, etc., are still unsolved by many people, and he has to credit 3,000 theorems. Okay, next. This is his picture. Can you identify Ramanujan in this picture? Can you identify? The boy who is standing near, this is Ramanujan, right? And this is the famous Trinity College, Cambridge picture. Okay, next. So, my handicap is removed. I've got a beautiful board, so I will do both. This is my good question. Now, you'll be dynamic. Okay. I've got 5 laddus with me. I asked this question several places. What will you do with 5 laddus? You give answer of a children, okay, child. We get 5 laddus. What is your first reaction? You will eat all the 5 laddus. Very good. Then next day you have to go to the doctor. That's all. Okay. So I've got 5 laddus with me. My problem is in how many ways I can partition or I can distribute these 5. Come on. If I have only, say, 3, what will you do? Come on, come on. Mathematics is doing. Unless you do, you will not understand. Okay. Suppose it's only 1. What will you do? Only one way of partitioning 1. I have got 2 with me. How many? I can have 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 and 2 plus 0 is 0. Sorry, 2 plus 2 is 2. So how many ways of partitioning number 2? Come on. 2. We have 3. What is the way out? 1 plus 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1, and 3 plus 0. Am I right? Are you following me? Is it right? Yes. So suppose it is 4. Your guess is number of partitions of 4 is 4, and unfortunately it is not true. Okay, that's something what is happening in mathematics. So you cannot do induction always. Whatever be 4, let it be there. Come on, what about 5? Come on, what is my question? To understand the question, you repeat the question. In how many ways I can distribute 5 laddus? As good as, how many ways you can write 5 as sum of some integers, positive integers? Okay. What is your answer? Now you know the trick. Come on, fast. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, right? 4 plus 1. 2 plus 2 plus 1. Come on. 3 plus 2. 5 plus 0. I have left 3 plus 3, one more. Pardon? Yes. 3 plus 1 plus 1. So number of partitions of 1, suppose I denote by P of n, the number of partitions of n, you are now more confident to say something which may be true, may not be true. If it is true, you have to prove. If it is not true, fine, doesn't matter. Okay? So P of 1 is 1, P of 2 is 2, P of 3 is 3. I have not found what is P of 4, but you know P of 5 is 7. So you have a feeling earlier filling went wrong because it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, but P of 5 is 7, right? Ramanujan was very tired and very very ill. So somebody asked, look at this figure, P 200. Can you eat that much chapatis? Can all the students of Cochin Refinery School eat that much chapatis? Can whole people, number of people in Kerala eat this much chapatis? How much? P 200 is, read out, 3972 999 029 388. Is it a small number? No, it's a huge number. So I will ask you as a Christmas vacation work, you give me what is P10. Don't use internet. Okay, you do it yourself. You know the trick how to get it? You know how to do what is P10 means? What's number of ways of dividing 10 into parts? Okay. Are you following me? Right. So you compute say P20 and then eat Christmas cake. Okay, because you will be tired by the time you compute P20 or P30. But somebody asked Ramanujan, can you give me a formula? Okay, this is Ramanujan's intuition. So Ramanujan did not know any formula for Pn, but he guessed, he made an intelligent guess, which is written down there. Ramanujan was certain that there is one formula involving square root of 2, pi, differentials, trigonometric functions, imaginary numbers, etc. And that did turn out to be true. After how many years? After 30, 40 years. So I have convinced you that Ramanujan is great. Agreed? Something which is unimaginable for ordinary human beings like us is very much told by Srinivas Ramanujan in advance that if at all there is a possibility of a formula that could be like this. So I definitely think Ramanujan is wonderful. Ramanujan is beyond all of us. Right? I will tell you one more story like this. So next. So this is another. Look at this. Can we do like this? You know what is this last down? Exponential raised to pi root 58. Hello gentlemen, he did it from this part of the body. You know what is this here? Brain. You know how much does it weigh? Roughly 1.4 kilo. That also you can make a guess. Oh, teacher is asking you what could be the possible weight of a human brain. You say 100 kilo. Is it a guess? It's nonsense guess, isn't it? There cannot be a human being with 100 kilo in his brain only. Absolutely no chance. So average it's 1.4 to 1.5 kilo is the human brain weight. All of us have ordinary human brain. But I think Ramanujan had a wonderful special brain which he could think and give the correct guesses. That makes Ramanujan great. Next one. This is well known. Yes or no? Come on. 1729. You have heard this? It's the smallest number. Come on, what is 1729? Importance of 1729? The smallest number which can be written as the sum of the cubes in two different ways. What are they? 12 cube plus 1 cube and 10 cube plus 9 cube. And it's also equal to 7 into 13 into 19. So 1729 becomes an example of a sphenic number. Sphenic number is a number which has got exactly 3 prime factors. Right? Are you following me? So 7 multiplied by 13 multiplied by 19 is 1729. Your good old Srinivasa Ramanujan number or Hardy Ramanujan number, which is also a sphenic number, which has got exactly 3 prime factors. You have seen 786. Where do you find 786? 786, where do you find? While you travel, don't you open your eyes or just simply sleep? Come on. You observe the numbers wherever you travel. Observe the patterns of nature wherever you travel. You will love mathematics more. Okay, you have got a whiteboard or blackboard which is something of type of square. Okay. Why can't we have a blackboard in the shape of a trapezium? Okay, you have seen papadam? And I think in Cochin Refinery also, papadam is round. Okay, ask your mother to give a rhombus-shaped papadam tomorrow. Why not? If you can eat circular-shaped papadam, you can definitely eat rhombus-shaped, isn't it? Will it not digest? Yes, it will digest, no problem. It's not the problem of digestion. Why not rhombus-shaped? Why not trapezium-shaped papadam? Parallelogram-shaped? Try for that. Okay. Fine? There is nothing harm. But there is a reason why it is square. There is a reason why it's a circle. There is a reason why the boards are square. Some natural objects have definite shape. There are reasons. Fine. Okay. So after 1729, I have next one. Next. Next one. Yes. This is the last piece of mathematics that I am going to discuss. What's called highly composite number. You know what is a prime number? Tell me loudly. What is a prime number? Can anyone stand up and tell? From here? What's a prime number? You know the answer? Not sure. You know. Okay, tell me.
A number whose factor is that number and 1.
Only factors are. Fine. A number is prime if its only factors are that number and 1. There are no other factors other than 1 and that number. Am I right? Therefore, you can give examples of prime numbers. Right? 2 is the only even prime. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, etc. How many prime numbers are there? Infinite number of prime numbers. But do you know what are all the prime numbers? You don't know. Okay, that is the strength of prime numbers, or our weakness, in the sense that we cannot write a formula to give all the prime numbers. And you don't know where the prime numbers are distributed. Doesn't vary. Since you know what is a prime number, you know what is a composite number? Yes? What's a composite number? Come on. Yes, tell me.
Factors more than 1 and that number itself.
Fine. So, your 15 is composite or prime? Composite because 1, 15, other than 1 and 15, 5 and 3 are also factors. Therefore, you are sure that 15 is what? Composite. So 15 is composite, 3 is prime. There are infinite number of prime numbers, there are infinite number of composite numbers also. Fine. Okay? But I think we did a little bit of cheating, in the sense that when you say that a number is composite, you get a feeling that you can factorize it. Come on. What do my younger boys feel? If you got a composite number, do you have a feeling that you can find the factors? See, I'm going to put you in trouble. That's what I'm telling. Okay, don't worry about it. Now, this is what you study in your school. My fellow teachers are there, isn't it? All of us are. My former student is also your teacher, Sindhu. Okay. I don't know whether I taught her that if a number is composite, you can find the factors. I think I didn't teach her. I taught something higher. But your teachers now say, come on, enjoy the question. Because this question is unexpected at your age, in your class. What is your feeling that you have? When you have a composite number, you are able to factorize it. Okay, don't ask me why. That's absolute nonsense. That's not true. You are not happy. Yes, she is not happy the way in which I gave the answer, because she has been told by the teacher that if a number is composite, you can factorize a number. But believe me, I'm not going to cheat you. Of course, I will also cheat you sometimes, not now. Okay. So believe me, a number is composite doesn't mean that you can factorize it. Okay. This difficulty of factorizing a composite number makes your ATM password secure. Huh? Surprise? Come on, what is my statement? Your ATM passwords or your system passwords, most of them are secure because of this mathematics, that it's not possible to factorize a composite number always. Definitely if you have 15, it is 5 into 3. If it is 91, you know how to do it. In fact, you can factorize in terms of powers of prime or prime, isn't it? This is what's called fundamental theorem of arithmetic. That every composite number admits a factorization in terms of primes or prime powers. Fine. So I will spend the rest of time, maybe 5 minutes more, to tell you what is highly composite numbers and what is so great about it. What is highly composite number? Read out. A highly composite numbers are numbers such that the number of divisors of that number is greater for any smaller n. Did you understand the definition? Come on. Okay. Come on, tell me. Did you understand? Yes or no? I will explain it. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I have listed few examples of highly composite numbers. I will pick out, say, 24. Okay? In this list, you don't find 45. Am I right? There is no 45 appearing there. So 45 is not highly composite, whereas 24 is. I will tell you both why. Okay? To say that 24 is composite, highly composite, 24 is basically composite, no doubt about it. Yes or no? 24 is a composite number, isn't it? What you should do? Get all divisors of 24. All divisors of 24. What are all divisors of 24? Come on. 24 is my number. What are all the divisors of 24? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Louder, please. 8, 12, 24. Right? Agreed? So 3 plus 3 plus 2, there are 8 divisors for 24. Fine? 24 qualifies to be highly composite because if you take any number smaller than 24, it has more divisors. Are you following me? Yes or no? Come on. 24 is highly composite because it is composite. So listed all the divisors of 24. Number of divisors of 24 is more than the number of divisors of 24, any number less than 24. Am I right? Yes. I will convince you with that another example that 45. 45 is not highly composite number. Okay, it is not. Whereas 24 is. Okay? Can you just give me a quick proof that 45 is not a highly composite number? What are the divisors of 45? Come on, fast. 1, 3, 5, 9, 15, 45. How many? 3. Come on. 6. So did you test that 45 is not highly composite? Did you understand? Right? Yes or no? Yes, because 24 is a smaller number and number of factors of 24 is 8, which is greater than number of factors of 45, which is just 6. Therefore, 45 is not highly composite, whereas 24 is highly composite. Now again, I will conclude very shortly, very quickly. What 1915 Ramanujan did was, he wrote down all 102 highly composite numbers up to such a small number, isn't it? Is it small or big? It's a huge number. I don't say big, huge. So Ramanujan was not well. Even then, he wrote down all the 102 highly composite numbers up to this number. So is it not enough to convince you that Ramanujan is great? Hello, he didn't have a computer. He didn't have a mobile. He didn't have an AC. He didn't have fan. He didn't have clothing, proper clothing. But he had a wonderful thing. Which one? This part of the human body, which almost all of us do not have. Okay? Something fantastic. So I gave you two examples of the intuition or the power of Srinivasa Ramanujan, and it's enough and more, because there are plenty of such stories that you can tell about Ramanujan to convince that Ramanujan is definitely a great mathematician. And we should all be proud to say that we all are living in a country where Srinivasa Ramanujan was born. Okay, so I will conclude with 2-3 points and stop. Next. Yeah, this is what I told you about 786. Don't you find 786? Where do you find 786? In front of the mosque? No. You have not seen 786 anywhere. Don't you have mosques near Cochin refineries? Yes. You go there and at the entrance of mosque you find 786. Okay, 786, the numerical equivalent of Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I have written plenty of articles in Malayalam about mathematics. I will give you some of them. Okay, I have written about 50-60 articles. I am going to compile this as a book. Why I wrote in Malayalam is simple, because I want mathematics to reach to the rural people. Okay, I want to reach the common students who knows Malayalam better than English. I'm not talking about hi-fi school like this. I'm talking about the schools in the rural areas. Fine. Okay. So 786, the numerical equivalent of Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Why I told you 786 in this class is 786 becomes an example of a sphenic number. What's a sphenic number? 786 has got exactly 3 prime factors. Next. Okay. 786 can be written as 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 131. So 786 is sphenic number. So too is your 1729 Srinivasa Ramanujan number, which is 7 multiplied by 13 multiplied by, come on, 90. Okay, next. Okay, this is another strength of Ramanujan. Next. Okay, this is a British play about Ramanujan and Hardy. I have seen this play, a disappearing number. Next. Okay, this is another mistake that Ramanujan did. Therefore, Hardy found it 100% sure that Ramanujan is great. How does this happen? He made a mistake. And therefore, Hardy was sure that Ramanujan is great. Because that was exactly the mistake made by other great mathematicians. And therefore, Hardy made it sure that Ramanujan is also great, something fantastic. Okay, next. Yeah, this is the Lost notebook which I mentioned. Next. Okay, I told you that I write articles in Malayalam. So this is one of the tributes which I wrote to, I suppose all of you can read Malayalam, isn't it? Yes or no? Or are you all of you from England? No, or Scotland? I think you're all from Kerala, so you should know how to read Malayalam. Okay, fine. So next one. Okay. So I strongly congratulate the Ministry of Human Resource Development, and in fact thank, as a mathematics lover, for arranging such a program to inculcate interest among the students in mathematics. So I will show you one role model of mine. Next. Okay, I will come to this after next slide. Okay. So he is one of my mentors. You know him? Yes. You read the passage. If a country is to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are 3 key societal numbers who can make a difference. Who are they? They are the teachers, father and mother. And I am proud to be teacher, because out of these three, only we people like teachers can have 2 points, isn't it? There cannot be any human being who is a father and a mother. But we people, this special breed, what we call teachers, they can take 2 votes, right? They are basically either a father or a mother, plus he's a teacher. Okay, so you visit his homepage, abdulkalam.com. I've been fortunate enough to meet him several times. Thanks to my guru again and my parents who made it possible to come to Cochin and meet such people. Okay, so whenever I met him, he asked me one question. Are you happy after meeting me? Okay, obviously yes. Not only meeting, he's so interested in mathematics that when I tried to meet him, he sat with me at least for 30 minutes. Okay, so when the security people will come and say, okay, your time is out, Dr. Kalam used to say, no, don't worry, you talk to me. Okay, that's affection that he has towards all mathematics teachers and all teachers. So he asked me, are you happy? I said, yes, I'm definitely happy because I could meet you. Fine, such a great man. Then you know what he said to me? If you are happy after meeting me, you make others also happy. Okay, if you can make others happy by giving money, okay, you do it. By giving food, you do it. By telling mathematics stories like this, you do that. But whatever be the way you are going to do, his imagination is that all children or all school students of India should be happy. Okay, fine. So I will go back to my previous slide and stop. Yes. So this is a competition for you. In every competition there is a condition. If you tell a wrong answer, you will get a minus point. Okay. So my simple question is, you can identify all the, how many? I don't know. If you tell a wrong answer, you get a minus point. If you get at least very good score, definitely I will give you 10,000 rupees. So, start. I'll be happy if you tell more wrong answers, because my 10,000 rupees will be in my pocket. Okay, the teachers can also participate, including my friend Father George Kurian. Okay, anybody is welcome. So, okay, principal, vice principal, everyone is here. This is a question nothing to do with mathematics, only our sense of what is called the scientific awareness. Okay, come on. Okay, all of you will answer one. What is that? Albert Einstein. He is the most powerful Nobel laureate. He is the most popular Nobel laureate in the world. So everyone got 1 point. So if you tell one wrong answer, it goes. Okay, so be careful. Come on. Come on, somebody stand up and tell. Dan Brown, who is this? This one? This one? This one? Okay. This is Dan Brown. How did you know him? Pardon? Yes, which book? There are plenty of books. Yes, what you said is correct. Most famous is Da Vinci Code. Fine, you get a point. Good. So you can clap. Okay, who else? Mark Zuckerberg. Who is he? Founder of Facebook. Have you seen his homepage? Go there and see. He's a very poor man. Okay, poor inverted commas. He is the first 30 richest person in the world. He's just 40 years old. Not even 40. Mark Zuckerberg. Next. Oh, very good. I showed him already. Terence Tao. Then? Good. All minus. That's my trick. Okay. Everybody got now minus because it is not C.V. Raman. So I am happy that my 10,000 rupees is in my pocket. Okay. Come on. Any more guesses? I will give you a hint. Then I will stop. The hint is, in this picture there are at least two from Kerala. Yes, please. Yes. That French beard man is E.C.G. Sudarshan, who hails from Kottayam, Alanical Chandi George Sudarshan. Fantastic physicist, who is a professor in Texas University, who was close to Nobel Prize at one point of time, still he is. He first proved that there are particles which move faster than light, what we call tachyons. Cochin University students like me, when we were a student, we were fortunate enough to see Sudarshan several times. Okay, because he has come to Cochin University then, during 80s. I think father also would have met him in the campus. Just comes with an ordinary dhoti and chappal, and he starts talking about foundations of physics. Fantastic person. Okay, you could locate him, very good. So how about that person with a tie? Okay, he's from Ernakulam. Oh, this is the reason. Because he is from Ernakulam, nobody knows him. But you could easily identify Albert Einstein, isn't it? Okay, so, pardon? Radhakrishnan, which Radhakrishnan? My brother's name is also Radhakrishnan. You see that Radhakrishnan? Radhakrishnan is a common name in India. So which Radhakrishnan? Oh my God, Jesus. I think even Jesus cannot help you. Okay, good. So keep guessing, keep intelligent guessing, go to last slide. Narlikar is there, correct. Next. Okay, this is a quotation which I like. Next one. Do you know where is this? Nobody can guess because nature looks almost same everywhere. Okay, next. Next one. Okay, so Merry Christmas, Happier New Year. Okay, not Happy New Year, Happier New Year. As I said before, I am very, very happy, thanks to my good old friend Anis George and other people here for bringing me here. And all the more happy is that all over the world people will hear this. Okay, so hope that it will be uploaded today itself. It will be, that's what they have told. Even otherwise, it's a great day for all of us because we are celebrating the birth anniversary of a legendary mathematical monk. Okay, so thanks a lot for bringing me here and giving a patient hearing. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. There is a quote, Chinese proverb. If you ask a question, you are a fool for only 3 minutes. If you do not ask a question, you are a fool for the rest of your life. So you can choose whether to be a fool for the rest of your life or not. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it is there. Your question is very good. It comes from a theory called theory of iterations. I know what it is, but I don't remember it now. What you said is correct. There is a Kaprekar constant.
Kaparekar was a school teacher in Nasik, okay, Maharashtra. I've met him. He had come to Cochin University, very short man. There are such numbers. Kaparekar constant, Kaparekar numbers are very good. I don't remember. If you Google Kaparekar number, you get it. It's a, yes. Fine, fine. Exactly. You are right. Did you understand? You take any 4-digit number, write it in the reverse order, subtract it, and keep on doing it. That's why it's called iteration. You keep on doing it. Then you will end up in, what is that number? 6174. So 6174, just like Hardy Ramanujan number, 6174 has this property. Of course, it has got a special property, that's why it comes like that. Okay, anyone else? This is the problem. Students don't ask questions. They have some doubts, but still they won't ask questions. That's really bad. Okay, you please ask questions. Doesn't matter. Questions may be wrong. I may not be able to give the answer. Just like what happened. Your teacher asked me, I don't know. But I admitted that I don't know, but I will try to help him. Yes? Oh, these are all, there are some mathematical conveniences. Okay, that's a question. Why is 0 factorial 1? Similarly, one of my German friends asked me, you know Pascal's triangle? Right? The triangle from which you can compute the coefficients of binomial expansion, right? It's actually an Indian contribution called Meru Prastara. I don't know how many of you know that. So Pascal's triangle did exist much, much before Pascal. Just like Keralites are responsible for calculus, much, much before Newton and Leibniz. Okay, so if you take a Pascal's triangle, there is a 0 on the top, then another row 1, 1, then 1, 2, 1, you know that? Yes or no? 1, 3, 3, 1, like that. This is what's called the Pascal triangle, which are the coefficients of the successive terms of the binomial expansion. Fine. So there is a 0 on the top. That means there are 0 number of ways of choosing 0 objects from 0 objects. Number of combinations of 0 objects from 0 objects is 0. You can choose one object from one object in choose one way, only one way. One object from two objects from 2 choose 1. And like that, R objects from N choose R. This is our what's called number of combination of R things, R things out of N. N choose R. So my question to me, if some of you can help me, it will be great. A German friend asked me, how did your ancient mathematicians knew that the number of ways of choosing 0 objects from 0 objects is 0? That's why they put 0 on the top. Are you following me? The reason for putting 0 on the top is that they knew that number of ways of choosing 0 objects from 0 object is 0. What is the mathematical interpretation of that statement by your ancient people like Pingala and Brahmagupta? I consulted this point with so many historians. I don't have any convincing answer, but I got some answer which I have to communicate to my German friend. This was not known to other people, that 0 choose 0 is 0. Or was it put conveniently? I don't know. Like that, there are some convenient symbols and observations that you have to put 0 factorial equal to 1 to proceed with. Okay, there is no hard and fast explanation for this, why 0 factorial is 1. Okay, so I think I have to give another program in my university. So I am taking leave of here and thank you.